السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا مرحبا. This side. All right, guys. My name is Dr. Zaman. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time, enjoying yourselves. So, as you guys are aware, the live streams are back. The lessons are back, inshallah, as well. And hopefully, we are going to be answering questions today. My hair is a bit messy today. So, as you can tell, my hair's gone short. I've cut my hair. And it's a bit difficult to kind of control. You'd imagine shorter hair would be easy to control, but it seems as though longer hair is easier. Yeah, shorter hair just goes all over the place. Right, so let's check out some of your questions then. So welcome, guys. Sit down here. Now, from next week, inshallah, these sessions are going to go back to the normal time, right? Which is 9:30, inshallah. So at the moment, they are 4 o'clock, but from next Saturday, inshallah, they will change. Ahlan wa sahlan, Halimat. Welcome. Drilon, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Right now, we have no Fajr or Shafaq Abyad Isha in South Sweden, but we still have Isha according to Shafaq Ahmar. Is it possible to jump over to Shafaq Abyad opinion and make Subh al-Layl Taqdeer for the sake of Rukhsa? Yeah, there's possibility for that. Yes, some scholars have given permissibility for that. Wa alaikum assalam, Darshan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaban. Hope you're well. I will pray Isha when the first subah of the night has passed, and Fajr I will pray according to Aqrab al-Ayyam. Yeah, that's possible, inshallah. Darshan, you got the Shah Rukh Khan hairstyle. I know, Shah Rukh Khan hairstyle, but it's just, I need to keep it in place. I'm used to having all my hair back, kept in place, but this time it just keeps coming out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi mu'eed. Ahlan wa sahlan. Eid Mubarak to you as well. Eid Mubarak. Ahlan wa sahlan. Fahmida. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, guys. So this is a live stream, guys. I'm going to check Curious Cat. Curious Cat has loads of questions that have piled up. So I'm going to try to get through all of those questions, knock them all out. See what I can. Right. So as you guys can tell, I've gained weight as well. Well, I've gained weight before, but I think I was doing a lot of exercise before and cycling. So I need to get back, just to kind of tone the tummy. Yeah, tone the tummy, guys. Right, so let's check out the questions here. Right, loads of questions. These are loads and loads and loads. All right, let's try to do as much as we can, inshallah. And then we'll... Okay. Okay, so question. Right. Today's a very lovely day today, nice day. MashaAllah. Do you guys enjoy today's weather? If you're in England, that is. Right, the question is, does laughing out aloud in Salah break your wudu? Wassalam. Yes, according to the Hanafi school. Can men pray in vest if they are comfortable wearing it outside in public gatherings? Then yes, otherwise it will be considered highly offensive, even though the salah will be done. Right. Okay. Next question. Does Sehri end? Today Sehri ended at 4:20. Okay. Sehri questions. Forget Sehri questions, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Question. I have accumulated interest on my savings account to be 2.9%. I have now closed the account. However, the bank said that they cannot. What do I do? Okay, so salam, give the money. Give the interest money to the poor. Okay, can a male wear a red cap and gown for graduation? Looks something like this. For graduation, yes. But not in normal day-to-day life. Okay, that's done. All right, let's check out some of your questions here. Assalamu alaikum, Mullah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, my friend Mullah. I heard it was your last day at university. You're finishing uni. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I wish I could just keep my hair back, tie my hair back, but unfortunately I can't. Why is it that the word bismi is spelled like bismi? Is Surah Alaq in Surah Alaq, but bismi in other play? How did the scribes know that Surah Alaq and Alif is added? So this is to do with the science of the script writing. Yeah. So basically, sometimes these qira'at, are based upon old like styles of script. Yeah, so old style of script. Sometimes they're based upon trying to encompass all the different recitations with that writing. Yeah, so sometimes you might see the word Rahman, it's got a small little alif there. I'm not sure exactly. I'm just gonna check up quickly in Surah Alaq why that is the case. I mean, that's actually the first time I actually heard that. And Surah Alaq is different. I'm just gonna check Surah Alaq. Tafsir Ruh al-Maani. Okay. Let's see if I can quickly find. Okay, I can't seem to find anything. Yes, I'm not too sure why in Surah Alaq it's actually written in this way. But yeah, I'm not too sure why it's there. But normally in the rest of the places in the Quran, it's because of just the script. That's the script form that they followed. Okay, next. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahmad, if the Imam follows a different madhab and does something which invalidates the prayer in the Muqtadi madhab, is the Muqtadi prayer invalid? There's 4 madhabs regarding this in the Hanafi school. The easiest madhab to follow, which is the position of like many of the later scholars, Sheikh Anwar Shah Kashmiri, Sheikh Yusuf Banuri, many of my teachers, is as long as the Imam believes his own salat is valid, then it's fine. Can I give supermarket cat food to my cat? The alternative halal cat food is very expensive. Because of necessity, I would say it's permissible. Yeah, out of necessity. If the Imam holds the mushaf when leading the prayer, is my prayer valid? Yes. When I do imamat, I sometimes make mistakes, read some words wrong due to the mustashabihat. I get afraid to tell muqtadis to repeat the salat after. What should I do? Then it's fine. Yeah, ignore it. As long as you don't make a serious mistake. If you make a serious mistake, then you have to. It's your duty to tell the people that to repeat the salat. So if it's a serious mistake, find out if it's a serious mistake. If it's not a serious mistake, if it doesn't affect the meaning of the ayah into something which is totally against Islam, then it should be fine. Luqman, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Can masa be done on Dex Shell ultra thin socks? As long as you can walk in them for 3 miles, yes. So if you try walking in them for 3 miles, that's the way to test it. Tayyiba, alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Will you continue the Quduri lessons? Yes, inshallah. Quduri lessons will restart, inshallah, this Thursday. Inshallah. Ahmad, does the hadith there should be no awards for victory in competition? Except for arrows. Camels, horses mean we cannot compete in other things. No, this is talking about, so this hadith, la sabqa, it means racing, like competition racing was in their days. In other words, in their days, the things that were done normally was like horse racing, riding, arrow shooting, wrestling, things like that. So these kind of things, the Prophet ﷺ encouraged Sahaba to get involved in them so that they can strengthen their bodies. So anything that fits that meaning is permissible. Otherwise, things that have no sort of like benefit in them. This was something which the Sharia. So, for example, like let's say, for instance, there's someone who has the ability, I don't know, to like blow bubbles in a cup. It's got no benefit at all. These kind of things you shouldn't be competing in them as they are not really beneficial to your body, not beneficial to your mental health, anything like that. The muqtadis are not people who are understanding of anything, and so it causes issues. Yeah. So look, you need to educate them, Siraj. Yeah. If you are an imam, it's your responsibility. There were many Sahaba who refused to be imams. So you got to remember that. Why did they refuse? Because it's a big responsibility. If you cannot do that, don't become an imam. That's my advice to you. Yeah, that's why I generally don't like leading salat. I don't like being an imam because there's a lot of responsibility. But it's your responsibility. You don't want to be asked on the day of judgment, Siraj, about you leading the salat and you're too scared to tell the people. We need to educate them. Tell the people. Like if you're going to give a talk after the salat, you stand up, you educate the people, you tell them. Is it recommended in Islam to cover the head for a male? Not necessarily. Arnaut, wa alaikum assalam. Sheikh, hope you're doing well. Alhamdulillah, Arnaut. I'm good to see you, my brother. I hope your Eid went well. Aqib, wa alaikum assalam. Would fades be considered imitation of disbelievers? No. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Islamic reminders. Ahlan wa sahlan. Siraj, I was told that in Hanafi fiqh, a muqtadi with the mushaf in his hand can't give luqma, and if the imam takes the correction, then the salah is broken. Is this true? So this is basically an ikhtilaf between Imam Abu Hanifa and the Sahibain. So it's a long masala. I've made a video on this masala. You can check it out. Type in holding the Quran in salat. Yeah, and type my name next to it. Sheikh, would working security at a church or bank be permissible? Yes. I found this answer. One possible reason is because bismi mostly used with the name Allah, love the Jalala, due to its recurrence in speech and writing. Possibly, yeah, possibly. Again, it all depends upon like the styles in them days. Like for example, in English we have contractions in sentences where we say cannot, can't, things like that. So in the olden days, they would have certain rules that they would apply to the script rule. Yeah, so like in pronunciation, you don't see it, but in writing, you do see it. Will you continue from Kitab al-Buyu for Quduri? I don't know if you've been watching my Quduri lessons. I'm actually in the middle of Hajj. Yeah, I'm in the middle of Hajj at the moment. So I haven't finished Hajj yet. So once I finish Hajj, inshallah, sister, I'm going to be doing Buyu, inshallah. Now, alhamdulillah, guys, I've actually completed my entire Quduri on my uruk.com channel. So on my uruk.com website, but you'll have to pay for that one. But this one slowly, the one I'm doing on my YouTube channel is slowly kind of like going. But alhamdulillah, I was really pleased that my entire Quduri has now been complete. So, inshallah, hopefully another book, inshallah, I'll complete. People claim that in the Hanafi fiqh is makruh to pray without a head covering and in general against manners to walk around bareheaded. Is this correct? No, it's not correct. The rule according to the Hanafis with regards to the rules regarding clothing in the Hanafi school is if you can wear it in public, you should wear it in salat. That's the rule. Yeah. So if you wear a hat in public and you feel shy of walking around bareheaded, then it's considered to be highly disliked to pray in that state in salat. Because when you're standing in salat, you're supposed to represent yourself like you would represent yourself in public. Yeah, so that's why wearing your night clothes and things like that in salat is something that you shouldn't do because you wouldn't be seen like that outside in public in big events. That's what it's based upon. So that's why if you read the classical Hanafi works, they will say that praying without a hat is considered makruh because in them days No one would be seen outside. No respectable person in society would be seen without their head covered. As opposed to another name, Allah, like a Rabb, Razaq, in this case is bismi, rarely used with the other names, and because of that, the alif remains. That sounds like a good, yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a plausible answer. Yeah, sounds really good. I was trying to find the completed version of Quduri on the website. Can you please post a link? Yeah, so it's in portions, but the thing is you have to pay for that one. That's paid one. It's in portions. So if you go to uruk.com, you'll see the section says Quduri from Nikah to, I think it's Nafaqa, from Quduri from Jinayat to this chapter. It will say that. Can you explain the concept of waqf and how it works? So waqf basically means endowment. Endowment is where the Muslims, they allocate a certain amount of wealth for like public for public resources or public things. So for example, masjids. So money that is collected from the public, and that money goes towards spending on the masjid, electricity of the masjid, the gas of the masjid, the lighting, the building work. Money that goes towards like a madrasa or university, Muslim university, the money would be used for that, or money that would be used to pay for the people who run the madrasa or things like that. So this is basically a waqf system. It's like a separate entity where money from the Muslims' funds goes there, and that has to be used for whatever that waqf has been stipulated for. I really don't want to be imam to imamat, but I'm the only hafiz in the masjid, and everyone pressures me to lead since they are laymen. Would I still be accountable? Yeah, just I'm going to leave it to you, brother. So you have to explain to the people, like explain to the committee, tell them, look, I make mistakes, and I feel this is a big responsibility. Or you educate the public, simple as that. Just educate them. Stand up one day after salat, educate them, tell them. Yeah. Couldn't find Buyukita on the website. I found the other ones. You can't find okay. What I'll do is I'll after the live stream, I'll have a check, inshallah. It might possibly be offline, so I might have to put it online. Yeah, inshallah. Is there anything wrong if a person reads the adhan of the namaz he's already prayed? If a person reads the adhan of the namaz he's already prayed. You mean just for the sake of it, you just want to read the adhan? Is that your question? Okay, let's go back to Curious Cat then. All right, so salams, do you have to pay zakat on jewelry that is gold and silver plated? Wassalam, no. No zakat on gold and silver plated jewelry. Right. Okay, just for my clarity, does that mean anniversary parties, birthday parties are permissible? Yes. Right, so anniversary parties, yes, in essence. How about inviting friends? Yes, you can invite. Yeah, you can invite people. Yes, you can congratulate people, but you must not be extravagant in spending on these occasions or showing off / competing. Right. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, if a person went to pray Isha behind the Imam and missed the first rakat in the 4 fard, when does one pray the first tashahhud as second rakat the Imam will read? Okay. So you read exactly what the Imam does. So you do exactly what the Imam does, and when you finish your salah, when the Imam, not you, when the Imam finishes his salah, you get up and make the one you missed at the beginning, make up beginning. Right, then. Okay, in Taraweeh, when a person prays witr behind an imam, does a person recite dua qunut or remain silent? Recites. Right. Assalamu alaikum. Are you able to name a baby Mikael? Yes, you can. If someone ingests visible or invisible dust from an AC, no. Last question. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're well. How cautious should be when going to a Muslim country when it comes to halal food in terms of investigation? I'm going to. Can you do a video tutorial on how to tie an imama? Yes. Yes, inshallah. You guys always ask me the imama question. Okay, when a woman is on her period, can her husband touch her thighs, navel area without shahwa? Salam. According to majority of the scholars, it should be avoided. It should be avoided unless it's covered. Right. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're well. What is your opinion regarding the Crescent Moon Society in the UK? Should the Muslim community set their Islamic calendars themselves or continue to follow other countries? Wa alaikum assalam. I'm not too sure about this organization, but it would be a good idea if Muslims searched for their own moon sighting, even though global sighting is totally allowed. Right. Next. Salam. Both are fine to follow. Can du'as change qadar? Okay, we answer that one. Right. If someone has fasts of Ramadan on him and the next Ramadan arrives and still didn't make them up, what to do? Just make them up after the next Ramadan. Smart haircut. Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. Yeah, this is a short hair is what happens when you got short hair. You do all these strange things with your hair. Jazakallah khair, MH. Aziz was told that if you do a wrong act against someone, Allah will not forgive you unless you seek forgiveness from that person. If you wrong someone but have no way of contacting them, then you pray for them and you hope that on the day of judgment they won't hold you to account. That's Allah's just law. That is, if someone has done something bad to you, you have the right to withhold like your forgiveness from them. If the imam is praying Isha, can someone who's already prayed join him with the intention Isha as qada that he's missed before? Or does it have to be the same prayer between imam and muqtadi? No, you can't pray behind an imam who's so you can't pray qada behind an imam who's praying like the fard salat. Yeah, qada has to be prayed separately. If the imam is praying qada, you can pray qada behind him. Yeah, if it's qada, then you can pray qada. Okay. Is wearing jeans trousers that reveal the leg shape permissible for men? If it's too tight, like if the person just naturally stands and it's really tight around, like it's really like tight around the limbs, then and you can see the naked area between the navel and the knees, that area is tight. Then like you can literally see the shape of. Then this would be highly offensive. Otherwise, if it's loose In other words, you can see a shape, but you can't see the shape of the thigh exactly. Then it would be permissible. However, Muslims should wear slightly loose clothes. Muslim men should wear slightly loose clothes. Just because it's a trend out there for men to wear kind of tight clothes, they shouldn't just wear tight clothes, especially between the navel and between the thigh area. Salam Zaid Malun Ahlan wa Sahlan. Some locations start here Ramadan earlier than others depending on news sighting. So how can we seek Laylatul Qadr? Look, seeking Laylatul Qadr is between you and Allah. Right? You tried your best. You have started your Ramadan. You don't worry about other people. Don't worry about what your neighbors are doing. You just between you and Allah. This is the main thing. We don't know how Laylatul Qadr works. This is Allah's divine sort of like system. We don't know when Laylatul Qadr can occur. So this is why, as long as you started your Ramadan, you just seek your Laylatul Qadr. Your Laylatul Qadr is between you and Allah. And your next door neighbor's Laylatul Qadr is between them and Allah. There could be this possible. It could possibly for you could be Laylatul Qadr on one night, and for someone else in another country could be another night. That's also possible. Did you find the edge cases of fiqh that you had learnt useful when you were in the detention center? Did you find the edge cases of fiqh that you had learnt? I don't understand that. Is a good action not based on intention, i.e. forced or done reluctantly, will not be rewarded? Is a good action not based on intention? So when we say not rewarded, it doesn't mean totally not rewarded. It means to a degree not rewarded. Like for example, let's say you're going for salat and you're saying to your friend, come to salat. He doesn't want to go, but you force him to come to salat and he prays. He will still get reward, but he won't get the same amount of reward that a person who willingly on his own goes for salat. Yeah, so everyone that goes for salat will get a different degree of reward based upon their sincerity of going for salat. معاذ وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا. السلام عليكم محمد. أهلا وسهلا. لعلك بخير ولعلك بخير. كيف حالك؟ أنا بخير معاذ. How would you complete witr prayer in Taraweeh with imam if I missed one or two rakats? So if you missed one rakat after the imam gets up, yeah, you just pray one rakat. If you miss two rakats and you're third rakat after the imam gets up, you make two rakats. You don't have to do the qunut at the end unless you missed all three rakats and you got the imam in tashahud. That's when you do the qunut. If someone's having an unlawful affair with a married woman, does he have to seek forgiveness from her husband too, or tawbah is sufficient? Yeah, tawbah is sufficient. Yeah, because it's to do between him and her. It's haqqullah, called this haqqullah. Yeah, between him and her, so tawbah is sufficient for that. Is the Jewish concept of God complying with Tawheed? I don't know. I'm not sure. The best thing to do is if you go to what's that organization called? There's an organization, I keep forgetting their name. Is it Dawah Squad? What are they called? Dawah something defense. Dawah defense. Let me just have a check. Defense. Yeah. Da'wah, EFD, EF Da'wah. Go to EF Da'wah, EF Da'wah, and check them out. They specialize in Christianity and debates and all that. If someone's having an unlawful affair, okay, we've done that one. Which book of poetry would you recommend to a beginner reader in Arabic poetry? Diwan Imam Shafi. Yeah, very, very easy to follow. Masir Ali wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? I'm very good. Thank you very much, my brother. How are you? How is America? I've heard some people say that if a person does good deed but has no intention for a specific reward, then they won't be rewarded. They narrate a hadith, I think, from Umar, how, yeah. So what we say, look, in the Quran, Allah says, Allah never wastes the efforts of a believer. If Allah never wastes the efforts of a believer, that means anything that a believer does that has some goodness in it will always get some element of reward. Yeah, will always get some element of reward. Yeah, so even that hadith of Umar, the Prophet ﷺ says, Man kanat hijratuhu ila dunya, whoever does hijrah for dunya purposes, or for a woman, to marry a woman, his hijrah will be according to that, meaning whatever he done it for, that's the kind of reward he'll get. Yeah, so different people have different rewards in doing different things. What should someone do if they arrive late to Eid prayer? Do they make up the extra takbeers as well? Yes, they should make up the extra takbeers. if I do only a certain part of the sunnah, but if they don't do the takbirs, then it's fine. If I only do a certain part of the sunnah of sleeping, i.e., reciting sleep dua, will my sleep still be inshallah? It's so we don't say it's ibadah, because ibadah has to be something that is specified from Allah, but you get reward for it. You call it qurba. Yeah, you call it qurba. Yeah, so I've started reading Tafsir al-Sa'di along with an ustad for reading comprehension, because the Sheikh had a very easy understanding language. What do you think? Excellent. That's a brilliant choice, mashallah. I meant the cases that scholars mention in the fiqh books regarding extreme situations like the one you were in, and how one can pray fast in those situations. I didn't really think too much. I didn't fast in there because I was a traveler. Things like Qibla, I knew the Qibla. I worked at the Qibla myself, and there was water available, so I wasn't really in a situation where I had that problem. But I mean, may Allah protect us from ever having to be imprisoned or anything like that, because we don't know how we would react in that situation. Right? Someone might say, "Oh, it's a good thing. I wish I was imprisoned as well. I wish I was." The Prophet ﷺ said, "Never ever should you wish for meeting the enemy." Meaning, never wish that Allah puts you in a difficult situation, because you're relying on your own self. You are, right? And you don't realize that it could backfire against you, and you might even react in a bad way. America's America. There's good. Ahlan wa sahlan. Mo Yasin, ahlan wa sahlan. Hi, brother. If someone who took a student loan to uni, knowing this is riba, is there anything they can do apart from paying it off? Just do tawbah. Ask Allah forgiveness, inshallah. Allah is Ghafoor Rahim. Allah is the forgiver. And try to pay off as soon as you can. Yeah. And I know student loans can take a very long time, but you didn't know in the beginning, and now you realized. So now you turn back to Allah, and that's the whole point of turning back to Allah, which is you want to rectify yourself. So inshallah, ask Allah forgiveness and try to pay off as soon as you can. Without wanting to stir controversy, what is your opinion regarding istighath? Dark Mortar, this question has probably been asked. It's one of the most questions that has been asked on the live streams. Dark Mortar, you tell me what istighatha means, then I'll be able to, because there's so much difference of what istighatha actually means. You tell me, Dark Mortar, what istighatha is exactly, and then I'll tell you my answer. I've heard many talks of Jummah not being valid in the UK. Is it true? No. Did the Prophet ﷺ's grandson used to own a pet puppy? I don't know. Do you follow moon sighting calculations? I follow whatever my mosque does. Yeah, so my local mosque follows the moon sighting in Saudi Arabia, and I just follow that. It's just easy for me and my crew. Okay, let's go back to Curious Cat then. Can du'as change qadar? I remember seeing in a hadith, so I answered that one before. Yes, if it's qadar that is not permanent. As for qadar that is fixed and permanent, that will never change. Okay, Ahmed Ashrafu, barakallah feekum for this platform. This might be a long-winded question, but please bear with me. What color of clothing is favored by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Recommend makruh, haram. Oh, this is a long question. I'm gonna have to answer separately. And another question is regarding sunnah hairstyles. Okay, after that separately. Right, go back to this. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, I finally got myself a copy of Mu'amalat al-Maliya al-Mu'asira. Ahlan wa sahlan. MashaAllah. Welcome, brother. Most asked after prawns are halal. Yes, that's the one. Let me put that up there. That's the question that I need to put up. Are there any prescribed du'as in the hadith for asking Allah to give a good spouse? ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا المتقين إماما. That's the one. So you're a hafiz, so you know that one. But in Nur it says that one of the conditions for Jummah Salah is that there needs to be a sultan. Yeah, so this condition is an important point that you raised here. This condition of sultan is it there because that's the condition for the Jummah to be valid, or is it there so that the Jummah there's harmony in the Jummah? In other words, the Sultan, because he's the leader of the country, what he does is he appoints an imam that everyone agrees on, and there's no fighting taking place. And if the imam does not choose an imam, or his deputy doesn't choose an imam, then there's a chance that there's going to be fights in the masjid. Yeah, so this is why Imam Ibn Abidin, if you read Rad al-Muhtar, Ibn Abidin actually discusses this in a lot of detail. And the result is that yes, the Jummah can take place, because the point of the Imam, the Sultan being there, is not that the Sultan is necessary for Jummah, but it's because of creating unity so that there's no disunity created. Yeah, so for example, like nowadays in the UK, when we have Jummahs, is there disunity? Do people argue with each other, fight with each other? They would say, no, they don't. So the idea is that in the West, we can have this. Once an imam reciting by heart asked me to hold a mushaf behind him to correct him in the case of mistakes. Allahu Akbar. Lucky you, bro. For example, saying, Ya Rasulullah madad, saying, help me with regards to worldly things. Okay, so if you're asking a person who's deceased to help you, yeah, you're asking that person, this is not allowed. You have to ask Allah. Yeah, this is something which you should ask Allah. But if the person is passed away, you're asking them. But if you're asking them to make dua for you, yeah, so for example, you're asking someone who's passed away, they're in the next realm, aren't they? They're in the barzakh realm. And you ask them. There are some people out there who believe that the people who are deceased, they can make dua for you, but they can't give you anything. Anyone who believes that the deceased can give you things that Allah gives you, this is shirk. Absolutely not allowed. Totally impermissible. And like I said, this type of istighatha, I would say you should not do this type of istighatha. This is my position on this. Zed Melor, is death painful even for the believers? Why? Allah, when we die, we're going to find out. Is wearing yellow makruh for men? No, yellow is allowed. May Allah protect us all. Ameen. Jazakallah. Apologies for question inappropriate. Anyway, no problem, my brother. Tajbeen, I have benefited very much by your videos on YouTube on Arabic language. Thank you very much. May I call my Ustaz? Yes, you can call me Ustaz, inshallah. Have you cut your zulfa? Yes, I cut my hair. My hair's short now. Got short hair. What question should you ask a potential spouse? Is there a book you share on Twitter about this? I don't know. You know what? Like, I'm gonna have to go to my grandma and ask her when she got married, what were the kind of questions. So this is a strange thing. Think about this. People have been living for so many years and they've hardly had the need to know what kind of questions they need to ask their spouse. But all of a sudden now we're living in a time where we need to know what questions we're going to ask our spouses. Yeah. So I think the reason for this is confusion. People just see so much social media and they see so many people talking about marriage and potential this and all the questions. They think you have to ask it. The reality is it doesn't matter how many questions you're going to ask your potential spouse. Your marriage might turn out other way around, right? Because two people coming together, right? It doesn't mean that their questions are going to comply with the way they're going to live their life. It's just like, for example, let's say someone wants to buy some like sporty car and thinks, okay, is this car fast and is this car like this and that? And they get behind the wheel. That person doesn't know how to drive the car, and they crash it. Same thing can happen with marriage as well. So I would say is this: look, you go meet the woman, yeah. Ask the woman things that you think are going to be important about living together. Like if you have a friend, if you have someone that what are the things that make you and your friend get on with each other? That's the main thing to think about. What's the main things? That's what you want to look for in a spouse. That's the reality. You don't want to say, I want someone who prays 5 times a day, but you don't pray 5 times a day. Or I want someone who lowers their gaze, but you don't lower your gaze. I want someone who's like this. Those are questions that you've been fed by other people. What you want is the questions that are going to answer the things about your life. So you know your life better than anyone else. I don't know your life. If in istikhara, if a person sees the potential person to get married to in a dream, does that mean anything? I don't know. Is wearing red disliked for men? Men should not wear like clothes which are pure red, according to majority of scholars. Some scholars say it's allowed. In fact, some of the Hanafi scholars actually say it's recommended. Would you classify that type of istighatha as shirk bid'ah? the one where you asking the deceased to give you something that Allah gives you, shirk. But the one where you ask someone to make dua for you, that's not shirk. I would say that is something that you shouldn't do. I know some scholars out there who allow that kind of istighatha. I don't allow. I would say stay away from it. I remember someone asked you about this and you shared a book on your Twitter but can't find it. I shared a book. Can't remember. I don't know. Tromes, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Remember, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. Check out my videos. I make videos nearly every single day of the week. Check them all out, inshallah ta'ala. Tromes, assalamu alaikum. Have seen your videos, alhamdulillah, when brothers join you when practicing Arabic? When will these resume and how can I get involved? Inshallah, from next Friday, they will resume, inshallah. Send an email in the week after Monday. Send an email into this email address saying you want to join, and inshallah, you should be able to join. If I buy a phone from Samsung, they offer 0% interest payment plans for 36 months, but the finance is provided by a third party. Is it permissible, or is there undercover interest taking place? I don't know. You'll have to check the terms and conditions to see if there is undercover interest taking place. Ask them. If there is undercover interest taking place, it would not be permissible. According to me, I would say it's not permissible. I know some people I know they allow it because they say you're not doing the interest. But I would say no. Thanks, Suyad. You're welcome. Tasneem, assalamu alaikum. Ahlan wa sahlan. If a husband gives one divorce to his wife and before her iddah ends, he hugs her and holds her hand, but without the intention of retracting the divorce, does she have to start her iddah again, or will it continue? It will continue. As long as that is not, like basically the hugging is not retracting, taking back. It's not done to take back. Then it's the iddah will continue, and it'll finish. So that will not be considered as a retraction, as a raj'ah. I'm the type of guy who would walk with 73 written questions and have a serious 2-hour examination potential. Yeah, so that's ask your parents what they did. Do we get rewards for learning Arabic? If your intention is good, yes. And if you don't have an intention for it, then not necessarily. Do you think it's very important to teach basic fiqh of marriage and talaq before conducting the nikah to avoid issues of 3 divorce? I think, yeah, that's a good question. I think basic. I once remember I never give marriage talks here, but once there was basically a situation where someone asked me, "Can you give a talk?" Because the scholar cancelled last minute. Can you give a talk on marriage nikah? I go, no, I can't, man. Then please, they said we don't have anyone else. And there were students, university students, and I thought, okay. So I went, and guess what my talk was about? I said, all men are dogs and all women are cats. And everyone like shocked what I'm saying. And I explained that basically dogs, the way dogs behave and the way men behave, there's a lot of similarities. And the way cats behave and women behave, very similar. There's a lot of similarities. Yeah. And I said, the point of marriage is you have to understand you can't change people and how they are. Yeah. So for example, like, generally you'll find wives will be very possessive, right? Very possessive. And men will be chilling out and doing their own kind of things. And like cats, every time they see a box, they just jump into a box and sit on it. It's like this. Yeah. So I was giving these kind of examples. And that's what you have to understand about marriage. Marriage is about you have to leave the other person, let them be themselves. If you're not happy with them being themselves, right, then that means most likely in that marriage there's going to be a lot of friction, right? Because a lot of people can't change themselves totally. They can change themselves 10% or 20% change, 30% change, but they can't change themselves a lot. So if you kind of give a false image of who you are to your potential spouse, then you're going to struggle. Yeah, so you got to be honest about yourself. If you're going to meet your potential spouse, you speak to them and say, look, this is how I am. This is how I'm like. I don't know how I'm going to be after I get married. If I get married, am I still going to be a person who gets up late? Am I still going to be a person who, expects food to be made for them? Am I still going to be a person who can't do their own laundry? Am I still going to be a person who likes going out with their mates? Yeah. So these are the kind of things I think, you have to got to be serious about. I feel this is like a deterrent but a necessary thing. How would you go about it? Yeah, it's a deterrent. I mean, I think, look, just asking too many questions, I think it's just silly. Yeah, it's pointless. Just ask the main things you need to ask. Yeah, ask the main things you need to ask. Ask, for example, like, um, do you want to move out of the city? Do you want to live? Would you be okay living somewhere else? Would you be okay with this? Would you be okay with this? How would you in a situation? So a lot of the answers that people will give, they'll give them like in a very romantic way in today's times. That's what I'm saying to you guys. A lot of the questions I ask are pointless because every answer you give, if you were to get married to that person and then 10 years down the line, ask that person, did your answers conform with how your life turned out? Most likely they'll say no. I heard that the day of judgment is 50,000 years. If so, why does the Quran refer to it as a day or at least? Yeah, so in Arabic, day means a period of time. So there's different types of days. Yeah, so in English, when we say day, like, we say things like, what do we say day? It was a difficult day for people. Not necessarily day as in times, it was difficult times. Yeah, I think they also in English they use the word day to mean a period of time as well. Like one day I'm gonna do it. Not necessarily day as in one time I'm gonna do it. So in Arabic, the word day, which is yom, is used for a period, a non-specified period of time. Asking something that only Allah can do actually is the real doer of everything. So if someone thinks any other Allah can do anything independently of Allah, that would be shirk, yes. Like, for example, entering someone into Jannah. If you believe that someone else has the power to put you into Jannah, that's shirk. But if you believe someone has the power to give you a car, that's not shirk. Because other people can do it. Yeah, Allah has given other people the power to give cars to people, to give jobs to people, to give houses to people, to give, like an operation procedure that can cure them of some sort of illness. Have you heard of Sheikh Ibrahim Ossi? Yes, from Liverpool, yeah. Jazakallah khair, ahlan wa sahlan. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Yeah, I've heard of that book. Is reciting from the Warsh version okay? Yes. If one vomits during fasting, do they have to make it up? No, they don't have to. I will explain this in my crash course on fasting. No, they don't have to make it up. What parts of Umrah can a woman do if she comes on her menses? She can do everything besides going inside the masjid. Yeah, going inside the masjid. So basically, she's got to wait. When will the types of letters in Arabic series carry on? It helped me a lot. Yeah, types of letters in Arabic. Yeah. Which types of letters? I did two of the two. Are you talking about when I explain like the three letters, like hamd, what ha mim dal means, and is that what you're talking about? Is it necessary to divorce if a married couple no longer can live together? No, it's not necessary to divorce. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Beautiful weather today. So any plans for the weekend? Kind of, yeah. So I've got some guests coming down today, inshallah. So inshallah I'll be having friends over. But besides that, no, nothing else. I did a bit of gardening in the morning. Yeah, I'll put a video up of some gardening, inshallah, that you guys can check out, hopefully. Masir, how do you tell the difference between a real difference of opinion and a nonsense? Is there qawaid? The general rule of the thumb is, as long as it doesn't go against an ijma, then it's fine. Yeah, so long as it doesn't go against like anything categorical in the Quran, anything categorical from the Sunnah, anything which goes against ijma or solid sort of rules, then it's plausible. So you can ask about their interest to see if you are compatible. Yes, asking like I would say things like, you might say, do you like going hiking? I like going hiking. Do you like going hiking? Do you like I don't know, going for walks in places? Do you like reading? I like a lot of reading. Yeah, stuff like that. This day and age. Can a woman do her Hajj on her own? Yes, she can, as long as she lives around Mecca. Yeah, but for her to travel is the issue on her own. So the scholars differ on a woman traveling a long distance without a family member. Yeah, so some of the scholars say as long as she's with a reliable group of people that are traveling, then it's allowed. And others say no, it's not allowed because she's at risk of being attacked or being sexually abused or anything like that. Can we say Allahu Ta'ala is Shay? Any short? No, no. Yeah, because Shay does not. Shay is basically everything besides Allah. Is Shay. I meant the different uses of the letter Ba Ta'diyah. Oh yeah, those ones. Yeah, yeah. Inshallah, I can start those. Inshallah. I'm trying to make plans on what I should study in the summer, ilm-wise, like subjects I should focus on. What advice? I mean, it's up to you. What are you inclined towards? What have you done so far? You need to make a list of all the things you've done so far, all the things that you haven't done, and then you can work out what things. So, for example, like how much fiqh have you studied? What have you studied in fiqh? And how many books of fiqh do you still want to study? How much usul have you studied? How much Quran have you studied? How much Nahw have you studied? How much Arabic poetry have you studied, etc.? They won't even give Hajj visas for women on own. They actually will now. Yeah, they will now. So the rules have changed. The new government has brought new rules in. So they've actually changed the rules for women going for Hajj. Right. So according to Hanif school, when does the Fajr start? At 12:18. All right. So difference of opinion. I have heard that some ulama are on the opinion that niqab is not fard in the Western countries, or to what extent is this true? Yes, there is difference of opinion on the ruling of niqab being wajib or highly emphasized. All the questions are finished. I'm curious cat, mashallah. Right. I heard. Okay, let's see this. In Fiqh Akbar, it says Allah is a shay, but not like other shay things. Yeah. I don't know. I have to check. Are you sure it's in Fiqh Akbar? So I'll have to check. If you can send me the reference of it, email me the reference of it or something. I'll have a look into it. I heard Maulana Musa Rouhani Bazi wrote a 2-volume research work on the word Allah. Have you read it? No, I haven't read it, but I've seen it, yeah. For me, I need to master grammar myself in subjects like, but I don't know where to start. Yeah, so I would say start off with Nahu first. Start with the basics. Improve your Nahu. Improve your adab, your Arabic writing skills, things like that, and then work upwards. Is it Islamically permissible to use or share PDFs or books that are copyrighted? Yes, as long as you're not selling them. As long as you're not selling them. Advice for someone who does ibadah but doesn't feel any closeness to Allah, leading them to become demotivated. Number one, stay away from sins. Number two, find out if you are unknowingly committing sins. Sometimes you might not even know you're committing sins and you think you're staying away from sins, but really you're falling into a lot of sins. And number three is work on sincerity in your ibadah. So get up for tahajjud once a week, I would say. Yeah, so number one, stay away from sins. Number two is find out if you're doing sins unknowingly, like sins of the eyes, sins of the ears, sins of the tongue. Best book to read for that would be something like Imam Ghazali's Bidayatul Hidayah. Bidayatul Hidayah, yeah, beginning of guidance. It's a very good book. It kind of breaks down for you what kind of sins are out there that people unknowingly commit. Brother Anwar again, I'm coming to the end of the Medina Book 3 and want some advice on how to continue my Arabic journey. What I would suggest is start to read Arabic stories. Arabic children's stories are a very good way of improving your Arabic, and start writing Arabic as well. Is studying religion during tahajjud time considered a tahajjud ibadah? No. Yeah, so studying itself is an ibadah, like learning knowledge in itself, in and of itself, ilm, would be an ibadah. But but saying that it's a tahajjud ibadah, no. Tahajjud is basically like a specific type of salat. Marriage is a big business with these apps. I feel masjids should do more to cater for those who need to get married. Definitely, I agree. Definitely, there needs to be, because cultures are changing now. Now we're coming into, especially in the UK and America, we're coming into a point now where the generation has never seen a culture like this. Like, we living in the West have never seen a culture like this now. And in 10 years' time, it's going to be the first time we're seeing the culture like that. And then in 10 years after that. So we're always seeing a new culture forming. And we have to be careful of where that culture is going. We have to try and maintain the Islamic ethos in that culture as well. Yeah, like you mentioned about, things becoming business. It's sad. The way that we should run our masjids and our madaris and our Islamic sort of like, all these kind of like organizations is like, imagine there's people on this side and there's a land over here and there's water in the middle. And people are building bridges to get people over to save them. So they're drowning over here. You're building bridges to get people over. So imagine there's 10 bridges, right? If each person thinks they want everyone to come onto their bridge, right, then that's going to harm the people. But if everyone works together to try and save everyone, they don't mind which bridge they go on, as long as their lives are saved. This is how we need to think about organizations. Our organization should work together. Meaning our organizations should not be competing with each other when it comes to Islamic things, right? So we shouldn't say, I've got a madrasa, and I shouldn't say, you know what, mine is the best. Everyone come to my one. Don't go to theirs, because I'm just doing that just for my fame and for money, right? You only want that kind of motivate. You only have that motivation if you're motivated by money, and if you're motivated by fame. You want fame. But if you want to save people's iman, you want to save people from ignorance and from losing their faith and doubts and all that, you don't mind which organization they join with, as long as that organization is upright and all that, or that masjid is upright and doing good. You don't mind, because the main thing is you want people to be saved. So I think this competitive nature that a lot of our Muslims um, have is something harmful to a lot of people. They don't realize this. And in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years' time, we're going to realize how harmful our Muslim organizations are modeled around, cutthroat business models. Unfortunately, that's how it's becoming now. Cutthroat business models where we just want people to come to us and we don't want them to go to other places. Right, next. Right. Do the two angels on your shoulder count as witnesses for a nikah? No. Also, is it true that you don't need to sign a written contract? No, you don't have to sign a contract. What are your plans for teaching YouTube series in summer? I'm probably going to be going to Pakistan in summer. So I did mention this before. I'm planning on going to Pakistan, inshallah, visiting my teachers, visiting family, friends, going around different cities and checking out places. But I haven't finalized that yet. If a man has a hairstyle that looks exactly how a woman's hair is in society, is that tashabbuh? Yes. Mufti Sahab, has this been a valid opinion historically that reading the Quran just as in the sounds, not understanding it, etc., has no reward or benefit? I've seen some fringe Islamic scholars. I've never come across that opinion. Yeah, I've never come across that opinion. And that doesn't seem valid. Can people of the book be married by Muslim men? Women you're talking about, yeah? So Muslim men marrying Christian and Jewish women? Yes, there is permissibility for that. Advice to focus, have khushu in salah. You just cut down on things in your life, right? Minimalization. So become a minimalist in your life, and you're going to get khushu in your salat. If you have too much distractions in your life, you've got too much distortion. When you come into salat, you can't get rid of those. Yeah, so read Quran before you start your salat. Read one page of Quran. Do your wudu properly. Yeah, make sure the room has no distractions in there, or you're praying in or in the masjid. Saying you may as well not read if you don't have. Yeah, I've never heard that. Do you think it's important to marry only from your culture? It all depends on people. For some people, yes. For some people, no. What if parents say this is for no reason, even there is no language barrier? Yeah, so for some, like I said, for some people, culture is very important. They don't realize it, they'll realize it later on. Like I've seen loads of friends who get married to people outside their culture. Marriage doesn't work out. You ask them, how's it going? And they say, oh, you know, I wish I married for my own people. It would have been much more easier for me. So I've seen that happen as well. And on the flip side, I've also seen people who have married in their own culture and then regretted it and, you know, wanted to marry outside. Can you provide a reference to a Hanafi text which allows the hair to be trimmed on both sides because the people here are too adamant on their opinion? Yeah, so this is a well-known basically in the hadiths in Fatawa Hindiya. Fatawa Hindiya, I've actually on my Twitter, I've actually put an example of Fatawa. Fatawa Hindiya says you're allowed to trim all the middle of your head, shave it all off in the middle, and leave the sides. Yeah, he says you can do that. According to Hanafis, the qaza hairstyle is, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it last time, guys, shave your entire head and then you leave the size of 3 fingers of hair on your head. That is qaza. This is Fatawa Ibn Abidin. Yeah, Hashi Ibn Abidin has mentioned this. Yeah. There is no other reference to hairstyles in the entire my reading of the Hanafi works except this text. That's it. That's all there is. So people who are adamant, they seem either ignorant of the Hanafi texts or they just seem very tunnel visioned, right? Unfortunately. Like return. Zagallah with a rant about different organizations. Yeah, definitely. Please, inshallah, I'm going to do some more. Hopefully, I'm going to push more towards this unification of organizations and how organizations need to have like an Islamic ethos. Unfortunately, what's happening now, just because Muslims are running an organization, it doesn't mean they're Islamic. It doesn't mean they have Islamic ethos. Sometimes you can have an organization. Unfortunately, it's built around the model of Western mentality. Pakistan vlog, inshallah. Shaykh, in fiqh akbar it says mentioned that وَهُوَ شَيْءٌ لَا كَالْأَشْيَاء. That's why I needed a short explanation. Okay, I'll have to look into that, inshallah. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I have severe waswasa that I broke wudu and I get so much anxiety and waswasa that my wudu is not properly. I know. What you need to do, boy, is speak to your doctor. Seriously, your GP. Go to your doctor. Tell your doctor. Don't be embarrassed about telling him about these things, because the doctor will be able to help you. Is there any school of thought that allows you to have a stubble beard? There's, yeah. So there are like Shafi'is, some of the later Shafi opinions have allowed that. Even some of the later Hanafis as well have allowed that as well. Yeah, Sheikh Dr. Salab al-Hajj, many Hanafis in Syria, many Hanafis in Egypt as well. All 4 fiqh madhabs valid? Some scholars. Yeah, I've done a whole series, boy, on madhabs. Check it out. It's called The History of the Madhabs. Check that out. Would you name some books of fiqh which are used as reference book by Hanafis, meaning is an authentic book? Okay. Al-Asl by Imam Muhammad. Al-Jami al-Saghir by Imam Muhammad. Al-Jami al-Kabir by Imam Muhammad. المختصر الكرخي, مختصر الطحاوي, شرح مختصر الطحاوي by الجصاص, شرح مختصر الكرخي by القدوري, متن مختصر القدوري, شرح of قدوري, التجريد by إمام قدوري, شرح الجامع الصغير by قاضي خان, بداية المبتدئ, شرح بداية المبتدئ, هداية. Shall I go on? Yeah, I can literally sit here for 10 minutes is going on about all the books. These are all authentic books and they are much more than that. I've just mentioned about 5% of them. What's the ideal amount of study classes to do at one time without overloading or not learning anything properly? All depends on a person, honestly. It all depends on your ability, your focus, your concentration. I mean, I personally think 2 or 3 is sufficient. 2 or 3. I heard some scholars advise OCD was a patient with wudu issues with certainty is not lifted by doubt. Maybe you should do a series where you rant about topics or things wrong with. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Anyway, guys, I am gonna finish there, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for. I will, inshallah, see you guys next time. Next week, inshallah. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Oh, by the way, yeah, I bought some new gear, guys. Yeah, check this out. These are, you know what these are called? These are called bone conductive earphones, bone conducting earphones. So, you know, I wear a lot of earphones all the time. So I found them, you know, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes affects my hearing as well if I keep hearing. So I bought these now. So these are bone conducting. Basically, what you do is you put them here. Yeah, they attach to your bone here. So you see where your jawbone is. They attach there. They don't go into your ears, and you can hear through your bone. This is weird. Yeah, so I can hear basically, and these are actually good for, um, uh, you know, like cycling. So when I do a lot of cycling, and I put my earphones on, I can't hear the traffic around me, so it can become quite dangerous. So by having this, I can hear, and at the same time, my ears are free to be able to hear what's happening around as well. So these are very good so far. I mean, I've used them, mashallah, they're really good. Only thing sometimes they get a bit tight over here, a bit like because you know the sweat gets caught under it. But besides that, it seems very good. Yeah. So these are I'll send a link inshallah. Yeah, I'll send a link for these. These are very good. You know, I mean, there's different types you can get. So I got the ones. These cost about £75 or so, 75, £79. But they're really good because, like, you know, literally, you know, you can leave your ears to hear and it doesn't affect the eardrums. Okay, well, intention of doing something you may not be capable of doing still get reward. Inshallah, why not? A lot of people think that when it comes to waswasa, do not ask the doctor, but ask the imam. As this is a serious issue, I think should be encouraged more amongst ulama for people to speak to doctors. Definitely, 100%. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Book review. Yeah, book review. I'll do it next time, inshallah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go now because I have to start preparing. Well, I've got guests coming, so inshallah we're preparing barbecue, inshallah. We just have prophets and hadith. How do we differentiate what is different, obligatory, and sunnah? Inshallah, next time, boy, if you come on, inshallah, I'll try to explain. I'll send the link. I'll put the link on my normal social media, inshallah, and you can get it from there. So, guys, jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for tuning in. May Allah bless you guys immensely in this dunya and in the akhirah as well, and keep you happy and your families preserved as well. And those of you guys who are not married, may Allah give you nice spouses. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.